Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I have been dying to try out oval brushes. And if you're not familiar with like oval brushes or oval brush sets, they're basically huge brushes for your cosmetics that look like hair brushes like this. And they're just like a really big, super dense oval shaped makeup brush. And the first brand that I started seeing about this was Artis brushes, and Artis brushes are extremely pricey. And when I first saw them on the market, I completely blew them off. I was like, that is ridiculous. That is so expensive. No one's ever gonna pay that much money for makeup brushes. And lo and behold, they keep getting more and more popular on social media. I keep seeing on Instagram and YouTube. I keep hearing amazing things about them. And I work at Sephora and I keep getting clients coming in and asking me about them. So I was like, okay, I've really got to try out some of these brushes. But the Artis oval brush set that I found online is a 10-piece brush set, and it looks like this. And this is actually $355, which is absolutely outrageous. There's no way I'm spending $400 on brushes. And the brush set that I ended up getting my hands on is by a brand called Venus and Back. And this is what their brush system looks like. It's a 10-piece brushes, just like the Artis brush set. They're not as pretty, but they are only $55. So I got my hands on the 10-piece Venus and Back brush sets. Mine is in the shade Rose, which is like this like purpley chrome color, but they also come in black and silver and some other shades. I would have preferred black, but this is the color I got my hands on. And I've never tried any brushes like this before. So today we're gonna be doing a first impressions. I'm gonna be trying these brushes out and we're gonna see what they look like and how they perform. And I can't really speak for the Artis brushes or other really high-end oval brush system sets because I've never tried those before, but I figured it would be fun to try out a new innovative way of brush style, and these are the ones that we're going to be using today. This is the Venus and Back 10-piece oval brush set. So I've got 10 brushes here, multiple different sizes and shapes, and this whole set retails for $55. I do have a 10% off coupon code, so you can get it for about $50 if you guys are interested in doing that, and I will leave that down below. And these brushes have so many crazy claims. Basically, the like oval brushes are supposed to be better for those of you who are doing makeup on yourself. So it's not really artist recommended, whereas traditional brushes like these guys are more brushes that are designed to work on other people. So more working on clients, for makeup artists to do other people's makeup. The whole idea behind these is that they already face your own face. So the shape already goes directly to your face, which makes it really easy for self-application. They're also designed to have really densely packed bristles. So there's basically thousands of bristles packed in here, and that's gonna give you the most like soft, high quality fibers. And then it's supposed to give a very smooth, enhanced finish. It's supposed to look very airbrushed, and it's supposed to be able to easily add a lot of coverage while being very blendable. So that's kind of like the rundown, the whole like claims about these oval brushes. And you can definitely tell like looking at them that there's like a million little bristles. Like it's ridiculous how many fibers are in here, and they're super, super soft. So right away, the first thing I notice is that they're very like flexible, which online it says that this flexibility is important for you to get good give so that you can like really like move the brush on the face. But it does freak me out that it's like moving so much because it scares me that it's gonna like snap off. I'm not used to brushes like this. Like I said, I'm used to more like makeup artist brushes that are gonna be more like dense like these, that are very sturdy, they're very heavy, they're very compact. They're not moving or bending at all. So this is a very like different approach for me, but I'm very excited to try it out. So we'll see how this goes. Artis has a really large like foundation brush that looks a lot like this, where you just like smooth it on the skin. This seems so big to use as a foundation brush. This is the Morphe M439 right here, which is like one of my favorite foundation brushes. And obviously like this is way bigger, and this is a big foundation brush. So this will be interesting to see how this goes on the skin. I'm gonna take some of my foundation and just pump it directly on the brush. This is my Milani Conceal and Perfect. I love this foundation. And we're just gonna do a pump on there, and we're just gonna start applying it. This is so weird. Like the whole application is so different. Like I've never rubbed a foundation brush on my face before. I always like am patting and pressing and buffing. It actually feels really good though. It's very comfortable. it's just like a foreign application. Like I've never used anything like this. Well, I will say that applied super smoothly and really quickly. Like it was very easy and it's not streaking at all. I feel like if you were to like pat and press a foundation brush, it would build up more coverage than this does, because when you're building up foundation coverage, you're gonna like really pat and build on the coverage, where this isn't patting, it's just like rubbing and moving around, which freaks me out when it comes to building up coverage, because I'm always taught in artistry that you wanna pat and press to enhance pigmentation, whereas these are not designed for like patting and pressing at all. That's actually like super uncomfortable, so you probably wouldn't want to do that. But that's interesting. It blended really quickly, and it worked out a lot better than I thought it was going to. So that's one layer of foundation. I feel pretty good about it. It blended really well. I want to see how like building up coverage is going to be, because like I said, I'm used to patting and pressing to enhance coverage. So let's go in with like another pump, and we'll see if it like, because I can press it, but that's like really weird. Like I'm smacking myself with it. Okay, so for foundation, it did actually build up pretty well, but I am using a pretty full coverage. This is like a medium to full coverage foundation. I think if you were using like a more sheer or a lightweight foundation, it probably wouldn't work that well, because it would just be like moving the coverage around your face. But it definitely smooths out super easily. It blends really well. It's really, really quick and easy. I think that the bigger one worked better for foundation because the bristles are longer, so it blended a little bit more, whereas these ones are a little bit shorter, a little bit more dense. But I do feel like the size of this is like really big. But the large size is probably a big part of what is going to make the makeup go on so quickly. So with these bristles being so densely packed, it is really nice that I'm not getting a lot of foundation seeping in down below into the brush. And I'm probably saving a lot of product as well, because it is evenly distributing it onto my skin, opposed to soaking up any or losing any product or not being able to get the full effect of your foundation. Whereas with some like standard foundation brushes like this, you will get foundation starting to seep through just because the bristles aren't so insanely dense. So that probably could be a benefit of these, is that you're not going to lose as much foundation, you're going to get more bang for your buck, and you're going to be depositing more foundation on your face and less on the brush. So that is interesting. I do like how soft these are. Like they feel so comfortable on my skin. I don't feel like I'm like tugging or anything like that. So that is very cool. I don't feel like I could really use these brushes though with like powders. I don't know if people are using these kind of brushes with powders, but they feel more like foundation bristles, which I think would be weird for like applying blush and stuff. But we're gonna go ahead and try to do concealer. So I'm gonna take this little guy, which I would think is a concealer brush. It's just like a little tiny round brush. It's basically like a very mini version of one of these guys. And I'm gonna apply my concealer underneath my eyes first. And this is the Rimmel concealer. And I'm just going to put this right underneath my eye. And then we're gonna go in and kind of try to smooth it out. This is like the weirdest feeling. It kind of reminds me of a toothbrush. Okay, so I'm definitely seeing that the product is blending. Like it's blending out a lot, but I feel like I'm losing coverage that I normally get from a beauty blender or a more like dense patting brush, just because I'm moving the product around. Like I'm swirling it, which is very different than what I'm used to with concealer, because generally when I apply under eye concealer, I would be doing those patting and pressing motions that I was talking about. Like with a concealer brush or a beauty blender, I would be like patting to build up that coverage. But since I'm like moving it around, it's kind of just moving the coverage around. So again, I feel like I'm getting less coverage. I feel like I can't build up as much, but it blends out super easily. Like it's blending out like a dream. But I'm gonna try the bigger brush because I think these ones are a little too small. So I'm gonna go in with this size, which looks like a toothbrush, and we're gonna try it on the other eye. Okay. This shape makes a little more sense under the eye than that little tiny one did. I like this one better than the smaller one. I think that this shape makes more sense, and I think it actually is kind of building up coverage a little bit more than this one did. I feel like this is a little more sheer, but I don't like the concealer, the brushes for concealer as much as I like the brushes for foundation. I feel like they're just kind of different purposes. With foundation, I'm more blending, whereas concealer, I would rather build. So for concealer, I'm not taking it quite as much. Okay, so now that I have foundation and under eye concealer on, let's go ahead and do bronzing. I'm going to be using the Bare Minerals Bare Skin, which is a liquid bronzer. It's called Sheer Sun. I can't imagine using powders with these products. I just don't see how that would work. So we're going to try this guy out. I'm going to use this smaller brush, and we're just going to shake it up and put a couple of drops onto my brush. And we'll just start bronzing up the skin, I guess. I feel like I would get more control with a beauty blender than I am with this shape of brush, just because I feel like I'm having to rub it around the skin, because that's the whole purpose of the oval shaped brushes. Whereas with a kind of beauty blender, I can more precisely put it where I want it, and it just sort of blends into itself. So this is kind of tricky. I don't really like this application for bronzer. So I've got my eye primer on my brush here, and I'm just gonna go in and smooth this over the eyes. All right, now I really want to try something more precise, because a lot of these brushes are like the same thing. They're just like tons of different like shapes and sizes, but they're like basically the same idea. This is another kind of like category of the brushes. This is like a really sleek, slender, little skinny brush. So it's very tiny, very thin, and I want to try to do my brows with this guy. So I'm gonna take my eyebrow pomade, which is this stuff right here, and I'm going to pick up the product with it. I feel like this is gonna be too big, because when I do my brows generally, I use like a little tiny angled brush, but let's try this out. Let's see how it goes. Oh, wow. Okay. So there's my brow. I accidentally did the tail a little too big, just because I didn't realize like how big this guy was. So I probably normally wouldn't do my tail out quite that far. It's a little far, but it worked really well. Like, that was so easy to just draw that tail and create that shape. Like, I could just be like, boop, and I just got that perfect little tail. So that was interesting. Let's try the other side. That worked way better than I thought it was going to. I'm very intrigued with how easy that was. And that was my first application too. I've never tried this before, so I thought that there would be a little bit more of a learning curve than that, but it's actually not too bad. Yeah, that's not bad at all. Like, that's not hard at all. That was way easier than I thought it was going to be. Okay, well, that was cool. It's different than a little angled brush, because an angled brush, you're gonna get in there and get really precise, but this just kind of created the exact shape I would do with an angled brush, but it was like a lot smoother and easier and way quicker. So, wow, that was really cool. Okay, so the last thing I want to try is eyeliner, which to me sounds crazy to do eyeliner with one of these brushes, but I think Taupe from Glam Life Guru has talked about how she really likes these brushes for eyeliner, so I'm going to try it out. So I'm using a dip kind of pomade liner, like a gel liner, and I'm going to use the same brush that I used for my brows, because that one worked really well, and it's kind of like a similar situation. So I'm going to get really tight up against the lash line and try to create line. eyeliner was actually pretty similar to brows. Like, it was a lot easier than I thought it would be. It was easy to do a straight line with this, probably because it's already like a straight line, so you just kind of like move it. It applied really precisely. I didn't think that it was going to be as precise as it is, but it creates a really straight line, which is great for creating a bold brow or for doing a more bold line. I wouldn't do this for like a really precise like liquid application or anything like that. I think it'd be better for gel or using eyeshadow as eyeliner, but it definitely applied a straight line well. Let's see if I can do a wing with it. I feel like I'm not going to be able to do a wing with it, but I want to try it and see what happens. Interesting. That's not my best wing ever, but that's not bad. Like that was a lot easier than I thought it would be. I think like the size is really helpful because it's already like the shape that I would want my line to be because it's so straight. That's cool. And I like that it's like the proper length of a wing because you can just kind of like and like create that little flick there at the end. I don't think that these oval brushes are going to be my new favorite. I don't think they're going to be a go-to for me. I have my traditional brushes that I love and adore and will stand behind 100% that I would recommend over and over again. And I just don't see these ever replacing those in my routine. And I am a professional makeup artist, so I do a lot of makeup on other people, and I definitely don't see myself showing up at a wedding and applying foundation on other people in this application manner. So I don't think that these are going to be a new staple in my collection, but I did enjoy trying them out and I thought that they were really interesting and fun to experiment with. If y'all are looking for a good oval brush set to try out, I would recommend checking these ones out and seeing if you think these would work for you, just because they're a lot more cost effective than Artiste brushes, which will run you $400, or other brush sets that are a lot more expensive. So again, I'll leave the Venus and back information down below. This isn't a sponsored video or affiliated or anything like that. I just wanted to let you guys know that I do have that coupon code below. And I hope you guys enjoyed. I thought this was fun to try it out, and I'm always trying to do more innovative, like new testing out products on my channel, so I hope y'all enjoy this as well. And thank you so much to all those of you who have left me sweet comments or have been supporting me on social media. I did recently just get out of surgery, so that's what all like the bruising all over my body's for, and my flowers in the back. So thank you for your support. I really appreciate you guys, and I will leave more information and details in the description box below. You guys can find me on other social media or find out more information about this video. And please subscribe to this channel if y'all enjoyed. I will see y'all in a later video. Mwah!